This is Michael Popok, Legal AF. In the midst of a criminal trial in New York against Donald Trump for campaign and election crimes and violations, Donald Trump's in the middle of another campaign, election, crime, or violation. This time down in Florida, Donald Trump can't do anything right. He wanted to attend, apparently, the Miami Grand Prix, one of 3 formula races taking place in the United States. But his longtime buddy and somebody who testified on his behalf as a purported expert in the New York Attorney General case, Steve Witkoff, billionaire developer just like Donald Trump that owns a new golf course in Hollywood, Florida, called the Shelby Club, decided he was going to take a suite at the Miami Grand Prix, which is located inside of the stadium that the Dolphins play in Miami Gardens, Florida, and have people donate money to Donald Trump's campaign, up to $250,000 for the opportunity to sit next to Trump in the suite and other things related to the Grand Prix. Those are all campaign violations, and the organizers of the Miami Grand Prix got wind of what Steve Witkoff was going to do on behalf of his buddy Donald Trump as a prominent donor. I mean, Witkoff, not only when he's not playing imaginary expert, unpaid expert for Donald Trump in his New York Attorney General case, in which the judge found, $465 million fraud going on, he is also a $2 million or more donor to Donald Trump. I guess he could be forgiven for both Donald Trump and everybody around him and Steve Witkoff and everybody around him not understanding election law. But according to the new reporting by the Washington Post, Witkoff, and therefore Trump, got a cease and desist letter in advance of the start of the Miami Grand Prix, which starts in a few days. And in the letter, it reads as follows, because the Washington Post got their hands on it, and therefore so do I. It says, quote, "It has come to our attention that you, Witkoff, may be using your Paddock Club rooftop suite that he, leased for a political purpose, namely raising money for a federal election at $250,000 per ticket," that's Trump, "which clearly violates the Formula One Crypto.com Miami Grand Prix suite license agreement," read the letter. "If this is true," wait for the next part, "we regret to inform you that your suite license will be revoked and you will not be allowed to attend the race at any time, and we will refund you in full." That race starts on May the 5th. Last time Donald Trump attended any kind of race like this was back in 2020 when he was running for office. He obviously he's unfortunately ahead in the polls in Miami and in Florida. And Steve Witkoff wanted to do him a solid, just like he did when he testified for free in front of Judge Engoron, and we know how that went. So Steve Witkoff, again, and Donald Trump participating in another election fraud or campaign violation by having people at Witkoff's club pay up to $250,000 in order to rub elbows and shoulders with Donald Trump in a suite that he's using for political purposes to watch the Miami Grand Prix, that he shouldn't be doing that and violates the license agreement. Now, Steve Witkoff, interesting cat. He doesn't need Donald Trump. He's a billionaire developer in his own right. He just developed this multi-million-dollar golf course in Hollywood, Florida, which is sort of near Miami, on the way, in between Fort Lauderdale and Miami. And it's $1 million entry fee just to play around to golf there as a member. And so he's got enough money. Now, when Donald Trump was struggling to come up with quote unquote experts who would support his valuation theory that there was no overinflation of his assets on his personal financial statements, he didn't defraud any banks, he didn't take out loans that he wasn't entitled to, he didn't get loans at rates and terms he wasn't entitled to, he didn't get insurance he wasn't entitled to, all the things that were proven against him at trial in New York. He used 4 or 5 experts, and I seriously put quotes around that, try to demonstrate to the judge that things like Mar-a-Lago were being undervalued by the New York Attorney General. They were really worth a lot more. And Doral, another country club down in Miami, the same thing. And that there was no fraud that was committed. One of the experts was his buddy, Trump's buddy, Steve Witkoff. In fact, Donald Trump in 2018 at a fundraising event referred to Witkoff as my pal, my special guy. Well, my pal, my special guy, took the stand in New York to tell the court that the Doral Country Club that Donald Trump owned was actually worth, hundreds of millions of dollars more because Steve Witkoff said so. Now, the judge didn't think that guy was an expert nor qualified as an expert. He had never testified as an expert. He wasn't paid to be an expert. He wasn't independent. He was a buddy of Donald Trump's. All the things we look for neutrality in our experts in court, who are applying some sort of scientific or mathematical or evaluation accepted methodology. None of that existed. This was just a buddy that literally, I'm not making this up, shared a ham and cheese sandwich with Donald Trump. That's how he claims he got to be friends with Donald Trump. Trump didn't have any money. Does this shock anybody? At an event, and Witkoff went and got him a sandwich. That's how they became special guy buddies. But the judge said, I'm going to let everybody in. This NYU professor, who I think is paid, the word starts with a W. You can basically, as the judge said, get an expert to say anything if you pay him. That guy was paid over $1 million. Judge completely discounted that mathematician's expert testimony. There was an insurance executive that testified about insurance. And the judge says, I don't need that either. There was an accountant, and the judge at one point said, I took accounting 101. I don't need this testimony. It's not helpful. And he let Witkoff testify over the objection of the New York Attorney General. Got confused there in my hot takes because they said he's not an expert. He's not independent. He's a buddy of Donald Trump's. And the judge said, you know what? I'm going to give it the weight that I think it's due. There's no jury here. I'm the judge. Let it in. So he let it in, including Witkoff. And then he slammed Trump and awarded him $465 million. I mean, Witkoff and his relationship with Trump did not help Donald Trump at that trial. You could even argue it severely hampered his ability to win or to lower the amount of civil fraud judgment that was going to happen. And now fast forward a year later, golf course owning billionaire real estate mogul, not named Donald Trump, gets Trump into hot water again on holding a fundraiser in a Formula One car race that he's auctioning off space in the suite for. That is a violation of the Federal Election Commission and its campaign laws. Look, we got to cover this stuff, and there's no ironies apparently lost on Donald Trump. And at the very moment when he's on trial for a campaign election cover-up and money laundering through his payment of people that said that they had sexual relationships with Donald Trump during his campaign outside of his marriage, which is a campaign violation. He's doing another campaign violation down in Florida. We'll continue to follow it all on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF, a show that we call Legal AF at the intersection of law and politics, right here on the MeidasTouch Network on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And then you can pick us up on audio podcast platforms of your choice. You can give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment here. I've been known to comment back. We'll open up a dialogue together. And then you can pick us up on audio podcast platforms of your choice. If you like what I'm doing, I'm Michael Popok, co-founder, co-anchor of Legal AF. I do it on Wednesdays with Karen Friedman, Nick Nifolo, Saturdays with Ben Meiselas, and then you can pick up my entire body of work at Michael Popok over on the YouTube channel for MeidasTouch. Help them get to 3 million free subscribers. And now we've got a new Patreon. Yes, you heard me right. You want to learn more about the law, the nitty-gritty, the intricacies, the DNA, civil versus criminal, federal versus state, administrative law, constitutional law, civil rights, women's rights, and we do it all. Break it down for you in good 10, 15-minute teachable moments. Patreon.com/legalaf, patreon.com/legalaf. Heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.